Go. Oh, it's another episode of DrawBomb.
There we are. We're back. We're back in action. Looney Tunes back in action.
Starring Brendan Fraser. Which brings us to our first guest. Oh, wait, never mind. We couldn't get him. Couldn't book him.
Great, though.
Yeah,
If we
that would be.
get like a celebrity guest, we should try and get Brendan Fraser.
I will. He's the only one that I will. Oh, what the heck? Music just stopped. He's the only one that I will have on here.
Good.
All the celebrities, I don't care about them.
Yeah, get the flippity flop out of here, ya other celebs. I just realized I'm putting this on the totally wrong layer. Oh, still does. Okay, Jesus. No. Anyways, welcome to another episode of DrawBomb, everybody. What a fantastic theme song. Who made that?
I found it on this website called freeshittymusic.com.
Oh, well, it certainly fits the bill.
Just kidding. It's a wonderful song made by our very own Aiden Newton.
What? I made it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It was before you got amnesia.
That's right. I forgot everything.
But you didn't forget how to make music, and you still do it.
That's right. It was one of those things where, like, the first thing I did coming out of the coma was, like, sing a song that had been pivotable. That had been pivotable. Oh my god, I just said it again without even trying.
Wow.
Just move on.
Okay. You know, I feel like the plot of this movie, you find yourself through your music. And, you know, you write a song that reminds you of your childhood and... What's the title of this movie?
Wasn't this like that movie with, like, Robert Downey Jr. and Jamie Foxx?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't know yet. I've never seen it, but I don't know what it's
I
about.
haven't seen it either. I just assume that that's sort of, like, I mean, I guess Jamie Foxx plays, like, a homeless guy in that.
Yeah.
And, like, our DJ finds him and is like, oh, I'm gonna save this man.
Wasn't he talented or something, or is it just...
He's already talented. I guess he's just like a homeless guy who he brings out from squalor.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Or Robert Downey Jr. Jamie. The soloist. Yeah, it's a guy. Yeah, I don't know. I guess he's just sort of unraveling a mystery about the man's past.
Okay.
But we're sort of learning, you know. I don't know. There's no parallels in this fake story we concocted for me and this movie.
Except for that, once you finally... In the end, when you finally hear the last song, that reminds you, it's the last piece of the puzzle. You remember that you were Jamie Foxx the whole time.
That's right, the pivotable moment. Actually, pivotable is actually probably a word now that
Yeah,
I think
it
about
makes sense. If it's not a word, Webster, get on it.
Something you can pivot.
He's the guy who makes the words.
Webster, yeah, he totally is in charge of all the words. Question, should I give this alien, you know, like, eyes? Because it doesn't, the xenomorph doesn't have eyes.
You know, that's up to you.
Okay. Having a hard time with his creative decisions, I think.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know. He's a DrawBomb monster.
DrawBomb. And like, you know, whenever I'm trying to do like something that looks like something else, but isn't the same thing. I always have like a hard time, like, how exact do I get
Making it
in
your
my
own.
representation? Yeah, exactly.
You gotta pick the things that make it recognizable while changing things that can be changed, so to speak. I know,
Yeah.
maybe not the best description, but I know what I meant.
Yeah, I think I go. I think I pick up what you're putting
Basically,
down.
yeah, like you gotta pick and you kind of have to look over the figure and decide which things are required for it to.
Yeah.
Like, what's iconic about it?
Like I remember like a while back there was like some meme where it was like draw yourself as the like in the main character's outfit from the game you're playing, and it was like my first time playing like the Dead Space series, so I tried drawing myself in like Isaac Clarke's like armor getup, and boy howdy, I just spent so long drawing so many like armor plates, and I realized like I didn't need to do this, but also like I didn't know what was the what was the like where I should draw the line at. Like,
Yeah, you were trying to make it look like him, but you didn't know.
I just overthink it, man.
Just overthink it. That's the best description of it. Yeah.
Well, someday we'll get better at that, I hope.
Yeah, I've been practicing a lot of that lately because I've been doing a lot of portraits over the last few years, and I still have a lot of room to grow or try to get better at it. But like, I've definitely learned a lot.
It's good. It's good to learn.
Yeah.
There's a new opportunity to learn something. I don't know if folks can notice, but my camera angle's a little different.
Oh, they can. I'll speak for them. They can notice.
Well, guys, your has fessed up, and I guess I should say something. I have my computer back. Whoa!
Back.
Back in action, baby. Looney
Starring
Tunes- wait,
Brendan
here
Fraser.
we go.
So, let's just start over. This is like a Groundhog Day situation.
Exactly. We close your little hand in mine. Never a mountain we can climb.
Babe.
I got you, babe. Where were you last week, sir?
I went to Michigan.
Exactly. Oh no! Wow. Do you normally go there?
I not only do I go there, when I don't go anywhere, I'm there.
Oh man, that's weird.
I am there. No, I went to visit the Upper Peninsula, which is like a lot different than the Lower Peninsula. It might as well just be its own state, except Michigan's one of those states that owns the second state.
Yeah, I've seen the shape of Michigan, and it's a weird one.
Yeah,
I'll just
it's
tell you that.
because there's two pieces. When we got those damn lakes.
Yeah. Just bisecting that motherfucker right there.
Right. The lakes are cool though.
Oh yeah, the lakes are super dope. Like,
I was thinking about that when we were up there because we had some really great views overlooking Lake Superior, and I remember how wowed you were when you saw Lake Michigan.
yeah.
And so this is almost more impressive because when you saw it, it was frozen, and we were way up on this like peak overlooking the coast, and it was a really good view. And I'm like, if he thought that was cool, this would knock his socks off.
It sure would. I think the coolest thing about when I saw the Great Lakes were that they were frozen, so it was like being at the beach, but the ocean is frozen over.
Yeah.
I felt like I was seeing the ending of like the book Cat's Cradle. I was like, who let go of the Ice 9 in this thing? Like, this is crazy. It's just very cool to see like what looks like an ocean because you can't see the other side of it.
Right.
Just
It's
completely frozen.
It's shocking stuff.
Shocking stuff. But I mean, it was just cool. It's a cool lake in general. But I felt like I got a chance to see like truly a spectacle of it.
It's true.
Wow.
Even I haven't seen it frozen as much as I've seen it unfrozen.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is that the usual
I
experience?
mean, honestly though, I know you're like picking on me for saying that, but it's winter here more than it is anything else. So I mean, the
That's
odds.
true. It's cold there.
The odds are more like it's just you don't go to the beach that often when when it's frozen.
No, yeah, absolutely.
I hide in my house.
I've been to Michigan only in like the winter months, so I've seen Michigan as a snowy, like, winter wonderland than more so than I've seen it as, anything else.
Well, that was very brave of you to visit during such a horrible time.
I know. I am what you would call a modern day hero.
You're an adventurer. You go, hey, I don't care about what the weather's doing.
Yeah.
I'm going.
I'm gonna go behind enemy lines. I'll be a regular Cyrano de Bergerac.
You love to reference him.
I do. Good reference. I feel like half the time you say that name and like either people get it or they don't. Unless they've seen the Steve Martin movie, in which case.
I haven't seen the movie, but I'm familiar with its existence.
So, I feel like the Steve Martin movie is very different than the rest of what Cyrano de Bergerac is about. It's been a long time since I've seen the Steve Martin movie, so I don't know. But yeah, I feel like the Steve Martin movie was much more nose-focused than regular Cyrano de Bergerac is.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that detail.
Yeah. I should probably read that book, though. I've been meaning to read some books, some classic literature. I still need to finish Thus Spake Zarathustra, get some good old niche read, but I'm only like halfway through that book.
I haven't read any like books in a minute.
I read that one Chuck Palahniuk book earlier this year, which we talked about, and I've been reading some World War Z. Nah, not my favorite. It was alright. It was kind of very all over the place. Interesting, but I don't know if it's because of the format. I mean, I think I may have already said this before, but I'm not sure if it was because of the format of the book or anything like that. But like, it wasn't as well written as I was hoping for.
Right.
In terms of just general prose. Actually, I was doing some research for an article for that site I'm writing articles for and stuff like that, and I found this link to like an article on the Adult Swim website, so I clicked it, and I got the Adult Swim website 404 page, which is actually like a short story, and
that's very funny. Of course they
would
do that.
And of course they would do that. Yeah, absolutely. And when I read it, I was like, first of all, it's an interesting story, and like it took me a while to realize why it fit for a 404 page. But also, like when I was reading it, I was just kind of struck by like, wow, this is really well written. So it's just funny.
Good on them.
Yeah. Always the artistic type folks.
Creative and using their powers for weirdness a lot of times.
Yeah. Gotta love it. Gotta appreciate it. What should be on the end of this Xenotongue?
Maybe
something like teddy bear.
I was thinking it could be closer to like the actual logo.
Okay, actually I do like that. I got an idea. Feel free to poo-poo it once it's formulated, but actually, you know what? The first time I found out, speaking of Adult Swim, the first time I found out about like really like when I was like old enough to sort of be more cognizant of the world around me and things like that, like one of the first times I saw like a Cyrano de Bergerac reference, and I was just like, oh right, that's where like that whole thing comes from. Because like, not to get sidetracked like I always do, but like there's so many things that reference sort of like a Cyrano de Bergerac type storyline.
Yeah.
Like
the whole like
yeah,
like delivering like directions secretly. Yeah. It's kind of a overdone thing.
Like technically Patrick helping SpongeBob with his boating lessons.
I was thinking about that, yeah. Well, just now when I was
it's the Cyrano de Bergerac, but they just never say it.
I just saw that episode recently, and my favorite detail is just that the whole time Patrick's there helping him, he's walking around his house putting his clothes on.
Yeah,
for no reason.
It's so good. Actually, a frequent friend and guest of the show, Austin, has been watching SpongeBob again recently because I mean it's all available on Amazon if you have Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to pay for any of the seasons.
Yeah, it's free. I mean, if you have the service.
Yeah, so that's something I've actually been thinking about checking out when I, just working on some art and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like the first time I remember, again back on topic. First time I remember seeing like Cyrano de Bergerac like explicitly referenced and then understanding like that's where that comes from, was in the Adult Swim show Children's Hospital, which is really good, underrated classic show in my opinion. I was really happy that Netflix gave him what's it called, Medical Police or something like that, like a spiritual sequel of sorts.
Was it good?
I actually haven't seen Medical Police yet, but I've been meaning to. But I'm excited to see it when I do get around to it. But in the one episode of Children's Hospital, like this character is like, I need to go on this date, etc., etc. And then the one character's just like, oh shit, are we doing a Cyrano de Bergerac here? And like, and they just like, in the episode, they start out doing like the Cyrano de Bergerac. And then the guy's like, I think it's Rob Hubel who's doing the Cyrano de Bergerac, or he's the one who's on the date. I forget what the, who's who. But then in like the guy who's supposed to be like the Cyrano de Bergerac character, and he's like on the phone with the guy to like give him the instructions. He's just like, oh man, what do I say? And so then he gets like somebody else to help him out. And then it just like, as the episode goes on, they just get more and more people just going down the chain. Yeah. So then like the end of the episode was like, gets really artistic by the end of the episode, surprisingly enough, because like by the end everybody in the entire world is part of this whole date. I'm like doing like a Cyrano de Bergerac sequence of like chain of command thing, and then it's like this call center in India, and like these two people are like on the call center, and like the dude is in his cubicle, and he's like telling the male character like, because like it also turns out that the girl on the date is also doing like a Cyrano de Bergerac thing. So like that's how like everyone in the world gets involved, is because both sides keep going down like the chain of command. And then at the end of the episode, dude's on his like in the call center in India, and he's like, telling them what they should be saying. And then he hears like a girl in the cubicle across from him saying like the lines that he is responding to, and then they both like stand up and like see each other like across from each other in the cubicle. And then it's a nice little sweet ending actually. It's pretty cute. But that was my first time ever seeing like them explicitly say like Cyrano de Bergerac, and then
they actually talk about the original reference.
Yeah, so then I like did a bunch of research on it, and then I was just like, oh my god, it's always fun to find out where like a trope comes from, or like the etymology of like just a thing that's like so common in like media and things like that. That was a fun moment for me.
I was playing what's the game? Sunset Overdrive, and they reference it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, pretty early on. I forget what the context was, so I probably shouldn't have even brought it up, but yeah.
I'm curious how far you are in that game now, because I got like a
Not
certain
very far.
ways, and then you're not very far?
I don't think so.
Okay. You've already talked to like the weird guy who's like a fanboy of your character,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so like I kind of stopped not long after that, not for any particular reason. I think I got distracted by another game.
Yeah, that's the reason I keep stopping.
Yeah. But I'm trying to make like a cute DrawBomb thing, and it just ends up looking like weirdly possessed. But yeah, like so you must have either gotten like a little further than I have, or you're probably around the exact same point.
I might be a little further, but I don't feel like I'm very far still. Probably around the same point, honestly.
Trying to recall like the lessons we learned from the episode where we tried to make like cute things.
Oh.
Big eyes,
Big
tiny
glassy
body.
eyes.
Yeah. speaking of things that are cute, it's a weird. Nah, it's a bad segue. Just in general, moving on. Have you seen the trailer for the new Animaniacs?
I saw a tiny glimpse of it. It was like a Jurassic Park, like, parody.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. That's coming back.
Yeah, it's interesting that's coming back. I like Animaniacs too.
I only saw Animaniacs 1.
What was that?
I only ever saw Animaniacs 1.
Yeah, me too. I never saw its sequels. I do remember not liking the movie that came out, like where it's like it's like a weird movie that came out where it's like, I think it was like a direct-to-TV movie, and it was never released in theaters or anything like that. But it was like the Animaniacs are like in like a weird, impoverished European-style town, and Wacko gets like a half of a penny or something, or like a halfpenny, whatever, however much that equals out to. And then like it's about everyone trying to get him to wish on like a star or something like that. And then Maximilian or whoever, no, that's from Tiny
You're thinking Tiny Toons.
Yeah, someone is like the evil Ebenezer Scrooge type character though. And he wants to stop it, I think. At one point Wacko, I think, dies, or he's just knocked unconscious or hurt or something like that. I don't remember. I just remember it being very not funny.
It gets dark.
It gets a little.
Die.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like the thing is, like, it wasn't so much funny as it was very saccharine, and like I was kind of like, as a kid when it came out and I was watching, I was kind of going like, this isn't fucking like what I watch Animaniacs for.
I hate this. Speaking of things that are cute, Z Newt says his cat.
Oh yeah.
Can you confirm?
I can confirm his cat was ill earlier this week.
No.
Actually, but it's better now.
The cat's doing better now. Got a healthy cat. That's
healthy
great.
Cat, we hope.
That's what I look for in a cat.
Me too. I look for it to be in good health and alive. I usually look for my pets to be alive.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good goal to shoot for.
Yeah. In general, I would say. Especially if like it starts out alive when I take care of when I start taking care of it.
If it starts out dead, I do not look for it to be alive, because then you have to get rid of it for other reasons. Whole pet cemetery situation.
Exactly.
Don't go down that road. That's my
road.
impression of the neighbor.
Is that where that comes from? Because
yeah,
there's like a South Park character.
Yeah. Well, that South Park character is like they're trying to copy the voice and everything.
Okay, because I thought he was just like
down road. No, it's the dude who played Herman Munster in The Munsters. He's the neighbor.
No shit. Huh.
He tells them about the cemetery, but then he regrets it big time.
Oh no.
If you know what I'm saying.
He shouldn't. He spilled the beans.
Yeah,
he's
it was
like,
just to bring the. He's like, salt's gone sour. They come back different. That's pretty good.
I thought that was a pretty good impression of the South Park character. I can't speak to the original.
No, the South Park is a pretty good impression of the actual guy.
Oh, well, then you're doing a pretty good impression of the actual guy.
Burned Liquid says, did someone say bean?
Did we say bean?
I don't recall saying bean, but...
Well, let's talk about beans.
Boy, so what's your favorite bean?
Lately it's been coffee beans.
Hey, that's a good one. I wouldn't have thought of that.
I hear they're the magical fruit.
The more you eat, the more you have to shit.
Yeah. Isn't that a fact? I actually had some chili right before this whole
so did I.
chili. Oh, you did? Really?
I had white chicken chili.
Oh, wow. We just had... It was very red chili.
Ah. It's a good color. And we got... Let's see, Newt's votes. Fava beans. Do you like that good. With some liver and Chianti?
Burn Liquid says, green beans in a wrap, is it for me? Which that actually does sound pretty good.
Yeah. Can't say I've tried that, but I would.
I would, in a heartbeat.
Oh, I'd try that, alright.
I'm a big fan of limas.
You like limas?
I do.
I don't dislike limas.
A lot of people do.
I wasn't a big fan as a kid. I felt like I was being gypped in the flavor department, but I've grown to like a nice lima bean.
Lima beans was like, as a kid, we talked about this before, I was not very receptive to foods, but like as a kid, I was pretty okay with lima beans pretty much right out the gate.
I'm surprised.
I know, right? I was too, actually. Even as a kid, I was just like, this is fucking weird how I'm okay with this.
There's no rhyme or reason to it. It was what we learned when I was going through all the different stuff. I was trying to figure out what the underlying thing was, and it's just certain foods are no bueno.
Yeah. Tomatoes, no bueno. Lima beans, bueno.
So I tried to draw you here.
Oh, you did? Oh boy, I can't wait to... You know what? I'll take it.
I did my best. I didn't know how to do your hair, so you can feel free to tweak it.
I mean, my hair is looking pretty much... I mean, the part is pretty much right there. But also, my hair is wackadoo and is calic to shit. So, I think it's looking pretty good. You know, it's got like a normally proportioned face, which I appreciate you doing because I would have drawn it a lot weirder looking.
I was glancing at the webcam, which is a teeny tiny thumbnail on my screen, so that was the best I had to work with.
It works for me. I'm not going to complain.
Well, you can. This is your chance.
No complaints.
Zach Newt's favorite bean is the rapper Mos Def. No, I don't know. I think he was just saying most definitely.
Oh, when you were saying the fava bean, I was about to say, like, I'm trying to understand Zach's joke here. I
don't think it's a joke. Remember. I think it was my joke.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying now. I was actually like confused for a second. I was just like, "What's happening?"
That's what happens when someone makes a joke that has no comedic value. Everyone just ends up confused.
Hey, look. If there's anyone who knows about a joke falling flat, it's this guy, and I'm pointing at you right now, Brandon.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Ha ha ha! You suck.
You piece of shit. I appreciate you drawing eyelashes on my eyes, by the way. I think that's a good touch that I hadn't thought to add.
Oh yeah, I just felt like it's a nice, cute detail.
My dude's kind of looking like the goldfish character from the Amazing World of Gumball.
Arms and legs. It's like an anglerfish situation now. It's like, hey,
it is, yeah.
Come play with me, and then it eats your face.
That would be terrifying, actually, if it looked
it
like
reminds
this.
Me, not to everything references SpongeBob, but I love the old lady trying to like give them food at the little stand.
That's
and then the
perfect.
cat's like, it's like disgusting.
SpongeBob. I mean, the thing. To be fair, though, like, SpongeBob is a show worth repeat references because it's so dang good.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I'm still mad at the Super Bowl for
fucking
blue balling us on that Sweet Victory halftime show.
Their one chance and then blew it.
It was the one chance they had, and it would have been a great tribute to Steve Hillenburg, rest in peace. But they had to fuck us, and then I forget who came out rapping afterwards. And like, nothing against them, but I almost, if I remembered who it was, I would dislike them more. Because they cut off the Sweet Victory thing. I say more, like I dislike them at all. I don't dislike them at all. I actually don't remember who it was.
Well, I think we can agree they're terrible people. And we hate them.
They fucking gypped a whole generation.
Well, they shouldn't have even started to do it because...
Yeah.
That made it worse.
You gotta go all the way, or you gotta do it not at all, because what they did just made me so sad. I was like, oh, you guys You're gonna do it. You should have done this so long ago, and now you're doing it, and it makes sense. And then they didn't do it, and I was just like, great. Now I just remember that Steve Hillenburg's dead. So thanks, guys. Really
Thanks for
appreciate it.
reminding me of that. Now I have to go back to watching shitty football.
Yeah.
All the Black Eyed Peas perform some bullshit.
Yeah. My favorite joke about the Black Eyed Peas was they had this Saturday Night Live sketch where it was Andy Samberg as like the one guy with the long hair, and then it was
The weird one that never gets to talk or do anything.
Yeah, and they were doing something. They were just being like goofy, and then like the one guy's just like, yeah, and that's been the Black Eyed Peas. I'm Will I Am, and then Andy Samberg goes, and I'm from the Matrix. So funny. That was a good joke. So, since we're drawing aliens, how many of the Aliens movies have you seen?
To be honest, I think I've only seen the first two.
Okay, I've only seen the first one.
Oh, well, the second one's awesome. I think it's better than the first.
Really? Okay.
Quite possibly. I mean, that's
I hear it's good.
it's a debated thing, but if it's not better, it's definitely close. But I think it might be slightly better.
Huh.
And I love the first
that's
one.
The game over, man. Game. Oh shit!
Yeah, that's the second one.
I just realized I was coloring over your colors. But yeah, that's where game over, man. Game over comes from.
That's what's his name?
Bill Paxton.
Yep.
Oh.
That's the one.
See, I know about the movie. I've never seen it, which is weird because then I'm just like, why do I know?
It's culturally popular. It's it's like how Darth Vader's Luke's dad, even if you haven't seen Star Wars.
I've watched Star Wars a lot as a kid, though.
Right, but I'm just saying an example. Like I know people who haven't seen Star Wars and they know that because it's just like a cultural thing at this point. Sorry for the spoilers.
Yeah, sorry everyone who didn't know that Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's dad. But you should have understand that because Vader is father in Dutch, so.
So duh.
Duh.
What's Darth in Dutch?
That's a good question. Darth translated.
Big.
It's just a
Big
variation
Papa.
of dark. But yeah, in Dutch, Vader is, it's spelt that way, but it's pronounced Vader, which kind of, if you think about it, father, Vader, makes sense. But
Makes perfect sense.
yeah, Darth was just George Lucas being like, oh boy, what if it was the word dark, but it's different.
It's in space, so they say it different.
Yeah. It's like Order 66, like it's the order that he whoever gives, I think Palpatine gives to like kill all the Jedi.
Right.
And it's
Kill
just
the-
like, okay,
kill
well,
kids.
kill the kids. It's, it's just one digit short of 666. I feel like that was what they were going for with that.
Wow, they're really clever.
So clever.
They're really clever, those ones.
Oh yeah. It's funny too, because when you read about like the original Star Wars trilogy, if you like read up on the history of it, all of it is just like, yeah, so George Lucas had this like fucking bananas idea,
Yeah.
and then his wife at the time came in and was just like, what if no? And then like they went with the much more sane idea.
And also, he had to answer to studios because he wasn't the guy who created Star Wars yet, so he had to take notes. And not that I think notes are always a good thing. I think a lot of times it ruins a lot of movies. But
yeah.
Either way, he wasn't surrounded by yes men like he was in the prequels. Who were
Boy,
just
howdy.
like, wow, what an opportunity to be in the presence of George Lucas. Like,
Yeah.
back then it was, he would be like, oh, well, this is weird and stupid, so don't do this. And you'd be like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But now in the new ones, they just had to basically do anything he said, so it's really weird. But yeah, if you look at some of the stuff in the original that he tried to do but it wasn't in the budget or it got shut down, it's like super weird shit. Like Han Solo was like half robot or something,
yeah.
and like
C-3PO was a giant floating head.
wasn't Luke Skywalker like a lizard man or something. I don't know. There's a lot of weird details.
They were really playing up the
He's
whole like space.
He's very much like, if there's a chance to do something unique, I'm gonna do it. It's like packed. It's like when he finally like did all the special effects. The screen's just packed with like a million things moving around. You're like, you don't need to fill up every inch with weird aliens because it's in space. We get it. It's in space. Okay.
Yeah.
Not every inch of the screen has to be a bug monster dancing in the background or whatever.
Yeah, or like you don't need to have like a weird 50s diner with like a weird caricature like guy running the diner. You just don't got it, man. You can chill.
Get it out of your system with the Cantina. All the weird aliens you wanted. They're all there, and then do a normal movie after that.
Yeah, please. For the love of God. Dexter Jetster was the name of that 50s diner guy, by the way.
I forget what the band. It's like a weird name.
The music they were playing was technically in universe called Jizz.
That's the thing I was trying to think of.
Welcome to Star Wars Trivia, everybody. Where
but in the 70s, in the 70s, I'm not sure that slang existed yet.
It 100% did not.
And it was just him trying to be like, it's like jazz, but space.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it came back to bite him.
Yeah. Jizz. When did... Okay, we're about to get...
That's a tough one to Google.
When did... What's the edit... I'm gonna Google it.
Alright, good luck on your journey.
The etymology...
The origin of jizz.
Jizz. Originally U.S. English, first attested with the meaning energy in 1842 and with the meaning semen. So, even back in 1842, jizz, frequently known as the word jism, was actually in reference to the word semen.
Alright.
But it was before people actually knew what semen was, and they were just like, that's my spirit energy coming out of me. I'm gonna cover you with my energy, my dear.
Zach's like, knock it off because he's gonna get more condom commercials.
Oh my god, that's true.
Sorry if you do. I guess this show has some themes that we were unaware of.
My darling, I've got a sheepskin full of my spirit energy.
Maybe we should get a commercial for therapy.
Yeah. Hey guys, go to BetterHelp.com and just tell them all of the things that are plaguing you. I feel like I've recreated the color scheme of that scene we're drawing pretty well right now. But yes, in the chat, Xenu says, the first Alien movie traumatized me as a kid. I remember also watching the first Alien movie with my dad at not like a young age, but like around like 15 or so. I remember that movie being pretty fucking freaky, man.
Yeah, it's a scary movie.
It's a good scary movie. Probably one of the few times like a scary movie's actually been like pretty like fucking scary.
Really?
And it's just interesting that it's well, I mean, here's the thing, like as a kid, I mean, I was a big pussy.
Yeah, movies scared me a lot as a kid, more than they do now.
Yeah, but like I hit a certain like I don't know, it's hard to say because I didn't know Alien was a scary movie going into it, and I think that's sort of why it was like sort of the first movie that scared me, because if I had known, probably would have been like, maybe let's not watch that. Maybe let's watch Talladega Nights again or something.
Which is not a scary movie.
No. But I mean, now you and I we're like scary movie pros.
Yeah, I don't watch as many as I'd like just because Morgan's not into them. I know I can still watch them, but a lot of times when I'm watching movies, it's usually with her these days. Yeah,
it's hard to like sort of pick like an hour or two where you're just like, I'm gonna watch a whole ass movie
right
by myself, because usually like when you do, you're just kind of like, oh, but I could be watching this with a person.
Yeah, I don't really watch many midday movies anymore. Watch some shows which are this length of a movie, so I have no excuse, but it's a thing that is part of who I am.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I also watch a lot of shows when like I'll watch movie like stuff when I'm like working on art and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
but it's rarely movies, because I don't know, I feel like shows are just easier to segment,
Consume.
you know? Yeah, it's easier to consume. That's a better way of putting it. Because it's like, with a show, like, you got a cap, you know?
And they're
it's like,
slower paced.
yeah,
I think,
true.
because they have like 20 hours to tell a story rather than 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So you can kind of half tune in.
That's true. You don't have to like give all of your focus, which is a shame too, because I think there's definitely, we were talking about this before when we were like really sleepy playing Trackmania at like 4 o'clock in the morning with Austin, but you know, there's like an art. There's an art for sure to like making like a plot that's like good and lasts like, you know, 90 minutes. Like being able to tell like a whole story with characters and like arcs and stuff. It's hard.
It's got to be easier to do it in like if you have 20 hours to tell a story.
Yeah, absolutely. But I do appreciate like those who are able to like craft a whole ass story with like characters you care about in like that sort of 90 minutes to 2.5 hour time frame. So I feel like that's not better necessarily, but it's certainly more impressive in my opinion, but also just like really like smart storytelling in order to pull that sort of thing off.
You have to be really good at like honing in on what's important.
Exactly. And I do appreciate that. Like I like seeing things that are like short and sweet.
Yeah, me too.
As Shakespeare once said, brevity is the soul of wit. And then as somebody once intelligently shortened that too, brevity is wit. So, which I always thought was very
funny.
ironic.
It is.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that was not lost on the person who did it.
I don't think so. Yeah, I think they knew full well what they were doing. Actually, I was doing research for an article I've been writing for that website today, and I looked up the phrase "imitation is the sincerest form of flattery," and I had read somewhere that there was like a longer, like the quote was shortened, and that there was a longer version of the quote, which was not entirely true, but I'll kind of get into that. But what I did find out was that the quote originally came from Charles Caleb Colton, and he wrote it in his book, which was published in 1820, called Lacon. What was it called? One sec. Ah, fuck, don't log me out. Lacon, or Many Things in Few Words. So he originally wrote that, and then just out of curiosity, I was curious if that was where the phrase, or like where the word laconic came from, because laconic means, you know, shortened, condensed, etc., etc.
Okay.
So I looked up the etymology of the word laconic, and I'm just gonna read this thing to you for verbatim because I think it's so funny.
Okay.
Let's see, I got etymology. I'm very into etymology, by the way. I don't know if it's been obvious from. Anyways, concise, abrupt. 1580s, literally of or pertaining to the region around ancient Sparta and Greece, probably via Latin Laconicus or Laconia, from Greek Laconicos, like just a million forms of the word laconic. Adjective from Lacon, person from Laconia, the district around Sparta in southern Greece in ancient times, whose inhabitants famously cultivated the skill of saying much in few words. When Philip of Macedon threatened them with, "If I enter Laconia, I will raze Sparta to the ground," the Spartans' reply was, "If."
That's a badass response.
Right?
And
so
the cool.
good.
And is that one? You think it was one person who made the call of what they respond, or did the a council be like, let's say this?
Just the Spartan general being like,
let's fucking burn them.
Yeah. It's a hell of a burn.
It is.
Like, I read that and I just laughed out loud because it's such a brilliant.
I love the cockiness in one word.
Yeah. Just if. So good.
It's great.
So, I read that this morning when I was doing my research, and I've been thinking about that all day because I'm just like, God, what a fucking.
It's like,
beautiful.
Is that real?
I believe that's a real.
That makes it even better. It feels like
Yeah,
something
exactly.
from a movie.
It does sound like something from a movie, but man, I tell you what, those fucking Spartans, you did not want to fuck with those guys.
Guess not.
It also makes sense that Spartans would be men of few words, or people of few words, not necessarily men, because you know they were very warrior type people, so
Right.
it makes sense that they'd be more in the doing and less so in the talking. Yeah, I just read that and I was just like, God, that's so good.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's kind of the thing where you're like, okay, so do I say the coolest thing ever and encourage them to come fight us?
Yeah.
Or do I try to defuse the situation?
Not in, if you're a Spartan, man. You just
Yeah,
basically taunt them.
if movies and TV are accurate about how the Spartans were, then yeah, it's just like cocky as shit.
Yep. I mean, in Spartan culture, like the greatest death was a warrior's death. So, honestly, he was probably just like, yeah, fucking kill me. Like, it'll be great. Like, I'll die a warrior's death, and like we'll whoop your ass. So.
Go to our version of Valhalla or whatever the hell.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if they had like their own version. I mean, obviously they had Olympus, and they had the Greek gods and things like that. Although I wonder if the Spartan gods were. Yeah, I don't know anything about like the celestial politics of ancient Greece.
Can't say I do either.
Yeah. I was doing research on the movie 300 for another article, sort of about something a little different. I think it was actually just for article ideas, but I did find out that when the movie 300 was first released, the Persia, since like they're the bad guys in the movie The 300, like Persia was just like, this is fucked up. Can you guys like maybe rethink what you're doing with this movie?
But I mean, there's multiple stories where isn't Xerxes like a real Persian leader that existed and raided a bunch of places? Because I've heard that same story in other medias that weren't just the movie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure yes. I don't know the full extent of like, because when I was reading on the 300, like they were like the article was basically like, this movie is not accurate like at all. But I also don't know anything about like ancient Xerxes or.
Yeah, I guess I don't really know either.
Like the only thing I can think like. The only thing I can say, like, in terms of, like, that whole thing is, like, I kind of get it, why they would be pretty pissed off, because, like, it does kind of suck when your country is, like, the bad guy in, like, a major motion picture release.
Your whole country is the bad guy.
Yeah.
But, another thing is that story has been around a long time as a comic, long before the movie came out.
Yeah, and the comic
like,
is,
scene for scene, almost copy.
Yeah. And, to be fair, you can also say that the movie and the comic, like the story that it presents, is based on, like, a Spartan retelling the story because, they, in the movie, they straight up have, like, fucking mutants and shit, like, with pincer hands and stuff, and, like, obviously that's not like,
it's just a really funny, like, angle to take.
Like, obviously, it's like a dude embellishing.
Oh,
being
shit.
Like, dude,
I'll be right back. I just heard a crash. I'm gonna go see what that's about.
Oh, dear. Okay. Well, while Brandon's home is being invaded, I am gonna just keep on going and keep on talking about that movie. I didn't do too much research into all this, so I can't speak to the factual accuracy or the historical accuracy of all of that. But it's sort of like, like I said, I kind of get where they're coming from. I'm not gonna knock a person for being pretty pissed about that, but I also, do think it's understandably like a goofy movie. Like, it's not supposed to be goofy, but it's a pretty goofy movie if you think about it. So I don't know. We all heard in the background Brandon talking to his girlfriend, and she said it's all okay, but he's probably helping her clean up the mess right now, because definitely something did probably break. And that's what you're supposed to do, folks. If your significant other is cleaning a mess up and you see that they are, you should probably clean that shit up too. So let Brandon be a lesson for you folks on how to treat the ones you love. Because he was not going to let her clean that mess up all by herself. Oh no. He picked up I'm assuming a dustpan and brush, and also helped. Just some food for thought, everybody. Some food for thought. I am having, since I'm back on the computer, I'm having a heck of a time getting used to this whole thing again. Like getting used to just like this setup. Like the brush pressure sensitivity, because I have the brush pressure sensitivity one way on this tablet monitor that I have, this fancy ass thing. Let me just check those, because I also forgot to calibrate. I haven't calibrated this in quite some time. Yeah, that should be fine. So I don't know. It's interesting setting up your brush pressure sensitivity on just a little bit of inside scoop. It's interesting setting up the pressure sensitivity on like a tablet. Let's come back. How was it?
All right, everything's fine. The ambulance is on the way to get her. We're gonna be all right.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Sorry to hear about the
fell.
A mug fell?
She went to open the cupboard and something shifted and a bunch of mugs fell and broke.
Oh gosh.
But it's all right because now we have a few less mugs, which I think is a good thing. Because I don't know if it's just me, but like, why are there so many mugs? People just give you mugs all the time, and you collect mugs, and you just have mugs, and then
I've seen your mugs too.
You don't throw away mugs, and we have mugs stored in the basement because there's not enough room in the mug cupboard, and some broke, and it's a blessing. That's what I'm saying. So.
Were these the mugs that have like were from the beer factories that have like the fancy pictures on
No,
them?
no. Not my beer glasses. Just some coffee mugs that were in the cupboard.
Okay. Bad.
No, I don't want those glasses to break.
Yeah, me neither. I like those. I was gonna be like, wow, I appreciate your outlook on this, but
you're like, wow, how positive. In case you're wondering what Ian's talking about, I have this bookshelf. Or this big shelf in my living room, or in our dining room, I guess. That would be, it's filled with a bunch of different stuff. Like it just has like knickknacks and different things on it. But then part of it is a bunch of like glasses that I've collected over the years from different breweries that I've visited and things like that. And then when we have people over, which we haven't been doing so much this year, but normally when we have people over, just tell everyone everywhere, just grab something off the shelf, so everybody kind of has their own unique thing. Everybody knows whose is whose, and it's kind of fun little thing. So, yeah, and they're relatively cheap to collect. So,
and I like them. I like the cat one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Every time I've been over to your house, I pick the cat one.
There's some fun ones on there.
There sure are. I did want to answer something in the comments.
Okay.
Zenu said, same reason it's harder to write a good short story instead of a whole ass novel. I sort of disagree though, because when you write a whole ass novel, that's a lot of writing.
I think the physical work there's more to a novel, but writing a good short story that feels concise is probably. I would imagine. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I get what you're both saying.
Yeah, I get where he's coming from, because it is like, writing a good movie compared to writing a whole good TV series. You got more to work with a whole ass book. But
if you're not having issues with the actual process of writing, the getting it like concise and to the point is probably more difficult with a short story. But
yeah,
but
I feel bad for like people who do write novels and then they have to go through and like read the whole thing again and like edit it down.
Yeah.
Like, whenever
hopefully they have an editor to hire, but I suppose you probably don't on your first book, do you? Well, you might.
No, I think you. I mean, I think you always have an editor, but also your job is to also make the editor's job as easy as possible. So
Right.
like for instance, I've I've written a couple articles for this website, and it doesn't make me an expert by any means. But like anytime I finish writing an article, I'll go through it again because like every time I read the article again, I realize like, oh, I never finished typing this sentence. Oh, this is gibberish, and like basically like I have to go through and like correct spelling errors, but also just like correct these half-formed ideas that I forgot to ever like finish before moving on to the next paragraph. And I don't know how that happens because I could swear I'm pretty like lucid the entire
Yeah.
process, but I guess I'm not.
I think part of it also, like you said, or Zach says, that's what editors are for. It's true, but I think a lot of people, unless they're just like phoning it in, most likely want their project to have as little of other people's hands on it as possible.
Yes,
And so
100%.
you probably want to fix those errors yourself instead of giving it to the editor who's going to make changes.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. Because if you just like, if you don't do the editing yourself first, like you're kind of like again, because people are just writing like whole ass blocks of like pages of words and stuff like that. Like you're just gonna come across like these sentences that you just realize like, oh, I never wrote the whole sentence. Um, so like if you leave that shit sort of like there on the table, and then like some dude's got to come in and like fix it, they're gonna have to do some guesswork sometimes, and that's
Things will get lost or changed.
Exactly. So the editor is mostly there to make sure that like what you've written makes sense to more people than just you.
And also maybe be a second set of eyes to catch some errors and things.
Exactly. It's like I was doing a D&D game, and I wrote this riddle for everybody where they had to solve a murder mystery. And it was just straight up like I left clues like that they had to read, and then they had to solve a murder mystery. And I was just like, God, I really hope that they can solve this. And for the most part, like, was Xenoots actually?
Yeah, you said
solved it.
I think we talked about it last
We probably did, yeah.
week or 2 weeks ago. But yeah, you said Xenoots was the savior, or at least he saw it before everybody else, and then.
And then Austin was like, no, let's all sit down and really think about this. And I was just like, no, that's the answer. You have
Don't
it.
think about it.
I couldn't say that. So, they would, like, when they were trying to solve the mystery, though, they were also saying stuff that I was just like, oh, I hadn't thought of that. Like, they were just like, okay, so, like, clearly this is the case. And I'm just like, you know what? When I was writing this, I wasn't thinking that. But now that, like, somebody else is saying it, yeah, I totally fucked up and left that thread hanging right there.
Have you ever played? Not to change the subject.
Go for it.
But I'm going to. Have you ever played Alien Isolation?
I haven't, but I want to.
You
It's
like
on
horror
Game Pass.
games.
I do.
So I've heard some really cool things about it. I'm not sure how intelligent or how far this AI actually goes, but the AI for the xenomorph is actually, it learns from the way that you hide and get away. So if you consistently hide the same way, the thing starts to notice. On top of that, here's a bonus, but also I could see it as a bug. Or not a bug, but like I could see the bugs making it not as fun as it could be. But
Right.
you can play a mode where your actual microphone's on. So if you scream when something scares you, they hear you and start coming for you.
That's fun. That's actually similar to, so I've been playing that Phasmophobia game.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I had been playing it when we did the last episode, so I guess I'll give viewers just like a little bit of backstory on that. I played Fall Guys with Brandon and I've been playing Fall Guys. New season's out, cool stuff. But I was playing Fall Guys with this guy who he's a friend of mine from the restaurant who's actually also in the D&D game I was just describing. But I played some Fall Guys with him on his stream, and then like a couple weeks ago, all of a sudden he gifted me Phasmophobia on Steam, which is like a $15 game, so it's kind of like really nice for a guy who like barely knows me to do that. And he was just like, yeah, I want you to be in the group, we're gonna play Phasmophobia. And I was like, fuck yeah, sick shit, bro. And that's like the type of game where you don't want to be talking on Skype because half of the immersion is in the game's voice chat, because you can leave open mics on, but it's proximity based. So if you're like all the way, like if one dude's staying in the van and you're in the house, he's gonna have to talk to you on the radio. but also if the ghost is hunting you, you can't use the radio. So it sort of like,
That's pretty cool.
yeah, but also in the game you're supposed to talk to the ghosts, so you get like this little voice box. And you're supposed to be
It's
like,
one of your favorite tools, I've noticed.
it is, yeah.
Me and Morgan were watching the one night and just laughing at. It's just like, so the guy not to cut you off. I'll let you go back to your story in a second. But the guy streaming is he's in a different room than you, and since you said like it's like proximity based, we just hear Ian's voice faintly in the other room being like, "How old are you? Hello? How old are you?" Trying to talk to the ghost.
Yeah.
And we're just laughing at that. But
I found out since that stream that saying "Can you give us a sign" makes the ghost like ring telephones and shit like that, which is cool. But yeah, also if the ghost is hunting you, if you're making noise on your microphone, like it will find you, which is cool.
That's
so
cool.
like
Scary.
yeah, so like we're in the house and we're hiding from like this ghost named Barbara Garcia, and then like the guy who gifted me the game, I think his name is Mark. He's like going, "Oh shit, guys! Oh shit! Oh fuck!" And then he just gets like targeted by the ghost because he's like yelling into the thing. And then like I'll be in a room and I'll be like, "I have a crucifix," which is just like a weird thing to do and like over a microphone. But it's
I like
it's an
it.
interesting game.
I think more like when the VR is more like prominent thing. That would be a cool. I know that game is VR, but I just feel like that's one more step to make you a little more immersed. Is like there's consequences for the noises you make.
Yeah,
I feel like to make a scary game like that much cooler.
I agree 100%. And they also, the guys who I've been playing with, and pretty much everyone who I've read about it online, they all say that the game is a lot spookier in VR mode, which makes sense.
I can only imagine. Yeah, it's gotta be.
Which is funny, or it's not funny, but it's cool, and I want to be scared because that game doesn't scare me anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'll be like the last person in the house going like, "Give me a sign," and then like the last time we were playing, I was like the last person in the house just trying to like get the last clue. So I think I had the best sanity of the group, because it's like a meter that you have to like keep track of. But I'm in the house, and then all of a sudden like the ghost starts hunting me. So I just hear everyone outside the window in the van going like, "Oh fuck, Ian, run!" So I'm just like, all right, and I go and I like hide behind a cupboard, and then like I wait, and it was fine. Like it happened like twice in that game, and I was just like, yeah, I mean, whatever, fuck it, it's a ghost.
Yeah, I didn't realize they could. We were watching the first one, and the one guy got killed, and I didn't realize they could kill you at first. But I guess that adds some more scariness. But when they kill you, like these hands, I don't know if you ever got killed.
Many times.
Oh, okay. These hands like come over the screen, like grab your face.
Yeah, it's pretty. I like the way that game handles this scariness though, because aside from the occasional jump scare of the ghost just appearing right in front of you, which is completely like not planned by the game, just kind of happens if you're like in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
Mm-hmm.
But like for the most part, the game isn't jump scary, which I appreciate because I fucking hate jump scares.
I hate them too, yes, but I just like, I don't know, like in certain games it's kind of like fun, but also it's not. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
I in general, I'm just very not into jump scares because I'm just like, oh no, you startled me. Like, thanks. First of all, I hate you, and second of all, like that's not scaring. That's just
anything can do that.
Yeah, exactly. Like a fucking like phone will do that. Like phones are not scary. Like, but a phone.
Yeah, startling and scary is different.
And
they just take advantage of the fact that when you're expecting to be scared, you're ultra focused, and that's when you're more susceptible to jump scares.
Yeah,
so you're like zeroed in, waiting for something because the suspense is building, and then all of a sudden something just blasts you in the face.
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's is entirely jump scares, which at least Five Nights at Freddy's has like the ambience for it, where it is kind of like eerie, but then like in the end it's eerie because you know what the game is gonna do is jump scare you sooner or later.
What are some scary games we could play on the stream?
Oh god, so many. I haven't played Alien Isolation partially because I do want to stream it because it's a scary game, and I feel like that would be cool. Our internet's actually been acting pretty solid lately,
Cool.
so I feel like I could stream some games, especially since like the computer is up and running now. And since Discord does a great job of letting people, see what you're up to.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it would be too much for my internet to handle, but you could commentate while I'm getting my shit spooked. And
Yeah. That'd be
really
cool.
isolate and stuff like that. There's a new Amnesia game that's been announced.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is this drawing done?
I would say so.
Okay, yeah, let's move on. I would like to do more than just one.
Yeah, I like this drawing though. It turned out nice.
Came out good.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I mean, I'm always down. I have like a bunch of scary games I got for like $2 or for free, which are kind of
Oh,
interesting.
yeah.
Like, I should show you the one. It's called Black Rose. It's also like a jump scare game, but it's also got some of that, like...
There's a new Resident Evil first-person game coming out in like less than a year. So there you go.
I'm pumped for it.
That'll be a good one.
So excited.
I still have
I've
to
been...
beat 7.
What was that?
I still have to beat 7.
You do? Oh, you have to beat 2 too, still, right? As well, right?
No, I've beaten 2.
Oh, you beat 2? Okay, good. Because I was gonna say that.
I didn't play both. I didn't play both sides, but I beat it.
Yeah, I only played. Oh, that's right. We were actually talking to each other when we were beating the game.
I'll probably play the other side eventually when I'm looking for something new to play. But I just wanted to I wanted to give it some time so it feel a little fresh because it's kind of the same game twice.
Yeah, it's not too different. You played as Leon and I played as Claire, I believe, the first time around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's a good, great game.
Swap
Fantastic.
it up. It was really good. It's too bad. I wish they would have given 3 the same treatment.
Yeah, seriously, it's kind of a bummer that they just like chop the game in half.
Yeah.
Oh, what's a thing I should draw a thing where I have to like simplify the design. I'm gonna do Iron Man.
You're gonna try to simplify his design.
Yeah. But yeah, I would love to have you stream Sound or Resident Evil 7 while we
I could definitely do that.
that'd be fun. I also think I don't know. We would have to go through our playlists and look. And now that everything is a possibility again, we can actually do some GTA RP streaming again. Which that's what blew up the computer in the first place.
Yeah. We could.
I'm
I
actually
think
I'm
I
running
uninstalled that stuff, but I will.
Okay.
I can get it back.
I'm running it this like I was testing out GTA 5 earlier today just to kind of see how my new computer handles it. It handles it very well. But I was running into this weird issue, and I think it's because it's like an older graphics card, so it's like doesn't maybe I have to like turn the graphics settings down when I'm driving or something like that. But like I've been running into this weird issue sometimes when I'm like supposed to like jump fences and stuff in the game too, but like my guy will be driving, and first of all, the keyboard controls for driving are terrible.
Yes, I usually keep a controller hooked up and switch between the two.
I was thinking about
Different
doing
when I
that
play it
as
on the computer.
but the
Or just play
keyboard,
the whole thing with the controller.
yeah, I've been thinking about that too because they do sort of auto aim for you. But I also I play that game first person since you can do that on the
Yeah.
PC.
You can do it on PlayStation 2, I think.
Oh, cool. But when I'm like driving in the game, or sometimes just doing other shit, like for instance, if I'm gonna turn right and like drive forward, you don't want to hold those buttons for very long, but like I'll like make my guy move forward and turn to the right, and then I'll let go of the keys, and then they'll just like keep it like going like I held that key down for like a while, and I'm just like, oh shit, you're fucking me up. And so that's been happening, and I'm kind of frustrated by that, and apparently that's been an issue since the game came out, and it's just never
So
been
it's
fixed.
just the way it works, apparently. Or it doesn't.
That's actually so frustrating, is like the amount of times I like look up an issue with the thing, and it's like a bunch of people going like, hey, this is an issue, and then it's like been a problem since 2015, and then you get to the end of the thread and they're all just like, yeah, it's never been fixed. They just
We're used to people updating their games now.
Yeah.
So like every once in a while, Nintendo's a big one where it's just like their game comes out and I'm like, oh boy, I hope they fix this, and then just they never do because it's like they don't fix stuff. They put out their product and they move on. They don't. You don't really get updates on most of their games.
Which is
disappointing. But
very disappointing.
I don't know.
It's also, you mentioned that it's like nowadays they update games, and you're right, because it's kind of weird when you think about older games that would have these issues, and
No,
like
it's
you're
just
just
that
like,
was
well,
just the game. There was nothing they could do. They should have caught it before they released it, and they didn't.
like the Prince of Persia games for the PS2, like the second one, they had a glitch that apparently like the game would just delete your save file sometimes.
Oh my
And
god.
that was just how the game was released, so you were just kind of like
Awful.
Yeah.
So, what games have we been playing lately?
What we've been playing Fall Guys
Yeah.
and Fallout 76.
I wasn't sure if you were gonna admit to the Fallout 76.
Oh yeah, I don't, let the internet skewer me. Let them. let
No,
them
it's
talk.
actually been fun, and I've been enjoying it. Have you been liking it?
Enjoying it. I've been enjoying it, yeah. Zach and I, we played like about another 30 minutes after you got off yesterday, but we were having some fun with it. Zach's been really digging into it because he's been looking for a Fallout game to play for a while now, and he wasn't super happy with New Vegas, as we've discussed with him.
Right.
He's got a power suit for each of us now.
I just found a power suit last night,
Nice.
so I'm not able to put armor on it yet, but I
Yeah,
have the
It's
chassis.
like a level 50 thing, I think.
Oh, okay. Still pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm super interested in getting some real progress in that game. Should be a good time. I haven't played as much as you guys, I think, so I don't have too much to add. Aside from I've seen a couple of like the creatures, and I think the monster designs look really cool.
Yeah, I've seen some good goodies, and I'm still into the game. We'll see if that lasts, but it's fun so far.
Yeah.
I might be down to play some of that or Fall Guys after this if you'd like.
Yeah, definitely. I know Zach was trying to play some Fallout 76 with me a little bit earlier before the show, but I was like working on my article.
Mm-hmm.
If he's still awake, sometimes he goes to bed around 12ish. But yeah, I mean, I'm down to play some Fall Guys, down to play some Fallout 76. Whatever. Probably stream some either or, honestly, if we wanted to.
Zach has to work tomorrow.
Ah, man. Wait, he has to work tomorrow?
That's what he says.
He's been getting busy lately. That's not the phrase. Getting busy means something different. But yeah,
He's
been
getting busy.
It's also, no offense, Zach, I do appreciate when you're out of the house, because when I'm recording music and I have to sing, like, I just prefer to have an empty house, so.
Less pressure.
Yeah, much less pressure, so I'm gonna get some singing done tomorrow, probably.
I mean, what, you expect there to be no audience when you're playing at, when you sell out Madison Square Garden?
Well, first of all, that would be amazing. Yes. Second of all, though, it's different. It's just totally different than like singing on a stage where there's like because when you're recording music, I mean, you obviously know this answer already, and you're just making jokes. But
Yeah.
I do want to clarify for anyone watching, it is totally different because you're recording at home. You just got your headphones on because you don't want the microphone to pick up the music. So then, like, Zach, if he was in the house, would just hear me going like,
Yeah, that's true.
And not that I think Zach would particularly do, like, not that I'm particularly embarrassed of Zach hearing me sing or anything like that. I've seen Zach in, like, choir at high school and shit like that, or middle school maybe, I don't remember where. But it's more so that it's just weird.
Yeah, I would. You'd be hard pressed to find an actual like professional singer who, if you just heard the voice without the music accompaniment in any production, it wouldn't sound a little weird.
Yeah. Well, actually, in art school, boy oh boy, man, some of those people just had no fucking shame. Or on the subway, you'll just have somebody in their headphones just singing just full volume, and everyone else in the subway is just like, I fucking hate this person so much. Like it's not
Aside from being
everybody.
an asshole, they are strangers, so I mean, there's not as much pressure there.
Yeah. But like I remember my one friend Leo, he had a roommate, and that roommate ended up being a real piece of shit, among other things. But like one of Leo's biggest complaints about that roommate was just like it would be like 12 o'clock at night, and I would just hear him listening to his earbuds like on the bunk above me, going like.
Oh god, and they were in a bunk bed. That makes it a whole different story.
Yeah, that was a real prick though. He stole the cable box out of the dorm room so that everyone had to like pay like $97 or something like that.
What the fuck?
Real piece of shit.
To get cable back or what?
Well, I mean, this was at the end of the freshman year, and you don't get like the way our school worked was if once you get the dorms like secured for freshman year, but then any year after that you have to basically be in a lottery, and then it's like up to chance if you get to stay in a dorm room again or not, unless you sign up to be like a RA. So we just ended up like getting an apartment, like the four of us, and
it's better anyways, I think. I mean, maybe not every city's the same, but I feel like living with some roommates in a house is 1,000 times better than living in a little shoebox like of a dorm.
Well, we still lived in a shoebox. It just wasn't a dorm anymore.
Fair enough,
but,
yeah.
It was a better situation somewhat, but we also, we were still young and learning how to, like, be adults. So,
Right.
like, cleanup was a huge issue for that new place, and it was, like, a whole thing. But it was still a better situation. It was a cool...
I never lived in a dorm. When I first went to actual college, I just decided to go straight to renting a house.
I feel you. I mean,
I just found a roommate on Craigslist who luckily didn't murder me. He was still a big weirdo, but it was fine.
Nice.
And then upgraded from there gradually, and now I only have one roommate now. She sucks, but it's fine.
That is actually pretty much best case scenario what you got. Not like
could have gone bad, or could have been worse, but. And I had my scrapes with roommates here and there throughout the years.
Do I know who your roommate was when you were?
No. I mean, we've been friends a long time, so you probably heard about him at the time, but you probably don't really know him. You probably wouldn't remember. Okay. Just like, I mean, you've told me about your living situations throughout the years, and I'm not sure I'd remember all of them.
Gotcha. I just wasn't sure if it was some of the folks that met or anything like that.
It was not.
Gotcha. Speaking of roommates, though, can't wait to play some games with Matt again sometime soon.
Yeah, he's one of the good ones.
Good old Many Hats. I love that guy. And I also love other Matt, too. Matt Fritz. I like both your Matts.
I have so many Matts in my life. I have to, like, my brother, one of our good friends who now just moved in, like, a block away.
Oh, that's awesome.
And old roommate and old coworker, and so like these are all people that I still talk to frequently, and every time I tell a story about them to Morgan, I have to like specify which Matt I'm talking about.
I call one Matt just Many Hats in my head all the time. I'm just like, it's Many Hats, and because that's his like.
It's his handle.
It's his handle. But I also like that name too.
Yeah, it's good.
I also don't think I know his last name off the top of my head. I mean, I do, but like I have to like think about it for some reason. I don't know why. What was that? Yeah, we don't need that. We don't need to add him on air or anything like that. I'll just ask you after the fact and be like, "What the fuck is his name?"
You'll know it when you hear it because I say it often.
I know. I'll be so mad.
I have the habit of specifying last names because nobody knows which man I'm talking about, so I do it with you too.
Yeah. Yeah, I like your Matts. You have a lot of good Matts in your life. All very cool guys.
Did you ever meet my brother? I mean, you played games with him, but I don't think you met him in person.
I don't think I've ever met him face to face. No.
No, I don't think so.
Which is a shame. I would like to.
I've met your brother.
You have, yeah. That was such a good week, though, when you came to Philly. Like,
it's great. I can't wait to come back.
Me too. I might not be in Philly for a while. I mean, I'm hoping
that's okay.
sometimes.
I mean, wherever. Doesn't matter where. Just it'll be fun to hang out again. It's always a good time.
If anything, it'd be cool for us to grab a hotel room and just be like.
That's actually, I think, what we do. I
Buffet.
think that's what we do next is go somewhere else.
Yes.
You've come here, I've come there. Next time we're going somewhere neither of us have been, or just somewhere different.
Yeah, we were talking about like a potential Cedar Point, maybe Disneyland would be a cool trip.
Yeah.
Something.
Some good options.
I need to get some money saved up again before I can.
I feel ya.
But hopefully that's sooner rather than later. I need to stop. I'm like looking at this picture of Iron Man, and I like was trying to avoid it at first.
You're getting lost in the details again. You're doing it.
I am.
You talked about it this episode. You do it. It is a thing you struggle with. I struggle with it too. Especially, it's only when I'm trying to copy something that already exists or get a likeness down. That's when I get lost in the details and I get further and further away from my own style.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of those situations where it helped. Like, I'm just drawing this without a blueprint. I feel like this is one of those situations where putting a blueprint behind them would have helped me out, because I feel like then, I don't know how your process works for you best, but like for me, I'll do like, just to do a real quick example, I'll do like
You do like the little stickman structure.
yeah, and then from there, I'll like do another layer on top of it, and I'll just like start filling out like not even like the like part. I'll start doing from there. I'll do like the what's the name, head, the
Oh, I know what you mean, but I can't think of what it's called.
yeah, there's a name for it. The something's head, Patronus head, the Loomis head. And I'll do like the Loomis head from there.
Patronus head. Oh, I do want to say real quick, in between episodes, we got a new follower, Behold Discovery. Thanks for following.
Oh, hey.
Probably not watching right now, but if you are, thanks for following.
Actually, Behold Discovery is a friend of mine.
Oh.
Sort of. I'm not allowed. I'll tell you the story with what I'm working on a project with
Oh, awesome.
Behold
cool.
Discovery and somebody else. I'll tell you about it off the air. I don't feel comfortable
Sounds
sort of
good.
disclosing the details on air. But Behold Discovery, I had a short meeting with him, and seems like a really cool guy. So Behold Discovery, happy to have you on board. Thank you so much for subscribing and watching. Not subscribing. Subscribing is where like money happens. And stuff.
Yeah.
But thank you for following at least. And really, really appreciate that, and look forward to working with you.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Really cool guy, though. Super nice.
Nice. So today we went to a couple of our friends got married last month, and or last month or the month before. I think it was last month. And as they've like both worked in the food industry basically their whole adult lives, and they are really into it. Like, unlike me, who like is there because it's just what works right now. That's actually what they enjoy. So anyways, they've always kind of talked about like doing that, like maybe having their own place or something like that. And they the one had a family friend that basically was looking to get out and gave them their restaurant.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like a little small kind of like
Hole in the wall type place?
diner type. It's like a coney shop, so it's like burgers with fries, glizzies, chili, dog type stuff. But we went. Today was their grand opening or the reopening under new management. We went in there and it was really cool. Excited for them.
I'm excited for them too. I wish them the best of luck in this whole economy with everything going the way it is. But that's cool.
They got some bonuses, like they have started with a lot of the stuff you need to open a place right off the bat, and on top of that they have like the name recognition and like there's people that already love that place, so like they have that going for them. That's nice to start off with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Are they thrilled with the idea? Like, were they going in with the intention I guess they weren't originally intending to like use sort of like an old restaurants thing. It just sort of like happened for them. But like, are they excited about the prospect of sort of like continuing with this? Other restaurant?
They're actually really cool with it, and they're finding ways to make it their own too, without getting rid of the things people love. So it's kind of cool. They're like, you know, they know food and all that, so they've already added some like really cool stuff to the menu. That's like very much the spirit of everything else.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I like that.
And I may potentially be doing their new sign and stuff, so that's cool too.
And that's, folks, how you get work in the biz.
Know somebody.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But
you know what?
That's cool. Boy, do I love jobs where I get to do signage, because then I can annoy everybody in the car with me when I drive by the place and be like, hey, see that? I made that.
I did that. Sort of like how I do with our theme song.
There you go.
Shameless self-promotion and knowing somebody. And also a lot of times you get work by doing work for folks, or doing work and then your friends see it.
They like my work. They're not just doing me a favor.
Oh no, yeah, but like you
not
do
that you're
work.
saying that, but
Yeah. They, they're not just throwing a friend a bone or anything like that.
But yeah, so that's exciting. I'm excited for them, and that's why it's kind of a cool project to work on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for them. I'm excited for you.
Curious to hear what they have in mind.
Do they? Do you have an inkling yet?
No, they're just. When I talked to them today, they're like, "Don't worry, we still want to get a hold of you, work on the stuff. They were dealing with getting everything up and running, getting their own like LLC and all this shit. So like they're just overwhelmed right now."
Gotcha. Well, good for them though. I'm excited for them. I always like to hear.
And the food is really good, which is a bonus, because it's like, oh good, now I don't have to like fake it to when I'm trying to like support my friends.
Right. That's always
actually a place I want to go.
It's good.
Hey. No, the food's awesome. It's really good.
Cool. That's awesome. I like to hear friends doing things, and I like to hear friends of friends doing things. It always makes me happy to hear.
For sure. I know my ideas of like what I would do, but I not. Everything is just like anthropomorphic, weird cartoon, like hideous creature, and I'm sure that's probably not the angle they're gonna go, and that's fine. It's probably not smart to go that angle. I'm just saying.
They're not looking for a burger eating like another burger. And like
I'm already picturing some stupid-looking hot dog that's saying something, but that's probably not what they have in mind.
That's like what we usually have in mind is not what the folks.
It's not what the consumer wants.
Like I had some friends. I used to work for this band, and like the one time I was setting up like the merchandise thing, because like they got work as the backing band in a play. So I was in charge of setting up the merch table, and so I came up with like a design for the poster, and like it had like basically the all-seeing eye triangle, kind of like Bill Cipher from Falls, but like it was there, and like I called it the capitalism corner.
No, like, yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, they legitimately were just like, yeah, we don't think calling it like the capitalism corner is such a good look, and I was just like, fair.
You're like, but also,
I mean, it's accurate.
Yeah, I don't know. Early on, I'm like, oh man, I can't wait till. I hate freelance because, or like, I wish I would get some freelance jobs where people would want the stuff that I like to make, but it's like nobody. Why would anybody want that?
Yeah, no one's ever gonna want what we're gonna make. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why whenever we were doing projects for class, they'd have us do like 4 main thumbnails at least, and it was just like, yeah, because like what's gonna happen is you're gonna do 4 drawings, 3 of them are ones you're gonna want to do, and then the client's gonna want the one that you don't want to do, because that's
Bingo.
like yeah.
It's true.
And pretty much every situation that has been accurate. Yeah.
Yep. And if you have money on the line, obviously I probably would change my design choices too. But I'm just the guy who's like, this will be funny.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not the priority.
Yeah. It's fun. It's funny too, because then you read stories about like people who, wow, I really fucked this dude's legs. I'm terrible at drawing legs. I really need to take some figure drawing classes again.
Those are robot legs though, so it's different.
Yeah, it's just the person's human legs inside have been broken now.
Yeah.
Well, see, I made this Iron Man suit. You can totally wear it, but it will break and rearrange all the bones in your body.
My entire body got degloved by my Iron Man suit.
Oh, God. Ugh,
I'm just a
degloved.
skeleton now.
Yeah. What a horrifying phrase for, like, talking about the entirety of human skin.
The horrifying part is how how accurate of a describer it is. The fact that it's so, like,
Visual.
simple but visual is what makes it upsetting. It's like you're like, oh, I know exactly what you mean. You haven't even explained it yet.
Yeah, you don't got it. Please don't explain it.
Definitely don't show me a picture.
Yeah, so that's when Gary's hand was degloved by the lathe. Nope. Okay, you can stop right there. I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight anyway.
The first time, anyway.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy. But yeah, it's like speaking of like people whose creative directors chose like the options they didn't want. There's this funny story for you haven't played Morrowind, right? Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind?
No.
So that's like obviously that's the one that came before Oblivion, where
Oblivion was my entry to the series, and I didn't even play that much of that.
Yeah, I think Oblivion was I think most people's entries into the series. It was kind of like a weird runaway. Like that's when Bethesda really started to like take off. Was after Oblivion. So obviously it's a bit harder of a game to get into because it's so archaic and like its controls are like very strange and things like that. But there's a story, so like all the monsters in Morrowind are super strange. Like pretty much the art design in general is very strange, because like there's like it's just like they really went for like the whole it's a new world, it can be whatever the fuck. So like houses are made out of mushrooms and like shit's just real weird. So you know, the monster design is very strange. And then like I was reading this design doc about like what the artist for that game did for those designs, and he was just like, so I had these weird designs for the monsters and I was worried that they would get turned down because they were kind of weird. So what I would do is I would design the design I wanted. Yeah, and then I would design an extra horrifying weird one, and I'd show both to the creative director, and the creative director would be like, "Oh, no, go for the other one." And so that's how he got his weird designs in the game, was by.
Pretty smart. I thought you were gonna say that the creative director like caught him off guard and was like, "Yes" to the weird one, and that's why everything's weird in the game.
No, it's that'd be a great story though. That's sort of also what happened in Fight Club with the scene. Where so in the Fight Club book, Tyler Durden has sex with Marla Singer, and then in the book Marla Singer says, "I want to have your abortion."
Yeah,
it's probably a good thing to say.
In the movie, she says something that's even worse.
Yeah, and when they were like working on the movie, the guys at the studio were just like, "Hey, look, you can't use that abortion line. It's like too out there." And they were like, "Okay, but we're gonna come up with something worse." And then they did.
They totally did.
They totally did. She says, "I haven't been fucked like that since grade school." Wow, what a zinger!
Real messed up.
Yeah. I love stories like that, though. It's sort of the, just sort of like brute forcing your way into getting your creative decisions.
Kind of finding a loophole in, like, the studio system where everything's kind of whittled down.
Yeah. Whittled down to be as market friendly as possible. So here's my simplified Iron Man design. It is very simple.
He's aluminum man.
Aluminum steel guy.
Hey, I'm steel guy.
Hey, how's it going? Hey.
My body's stronger than normal because it's metal.
It's made of steel.
I'm Metal Man, which is I think a Mega Man villain.
Is there? That would make sense. They have Woodman as
Everything's
Mega Man?
yeah. He was like a sumo guy. You shoot leaves at you.
Yeah, he would.
Zach says the crazy thing he found when we were playing together, but nobody saw, which I'm assuming is the giant he was talking about, is called a Grafton monster. So I'm gonna look that thing up just so I know what I have to be scared of.
It's interesting that it's called the Grafton monster specifically, which means it's like regional to that city that we were in.
Oh, you're right. Maybe it's like a story thing. I forgot we were in
Oh
town.
my.
But
Yeah, that is a monster, all right.
oh,
It's not as quite as giant as he made it seem, to be honest. Like, it looks like it's about the size of an Incredible Hulk.
oh, that's another cryptic. It's an actual.
Oh, no shit.
So apparently, West Virginia, wherever the game takes place, has tons of cryptics because there's Mothman, and this is another one that another West Virginia cryptic.
Nice.
This
I've
game's
actually,
made for Zach. It's cryptics, it's Fallout, it's all his stuff.
I'm actually gonna be writing an article soon. I don't know if this is giving too much away, but I'm gonna be writing an article soon about like cryptids that should be.
Oh, I'm saying around cryptid. I was saying cryptic. My bad.
Oh, I couldn't even tell. Or the. But maybe I was just. But yeah, I was thinking about doing an article about like cryptids that should get movies made. That's interesting.
Maybe that will be the next big like right now they're all still on superheroes. They've been doing that for like 10 years, but they'll get bored of that eventually. And do something
That'd be
else.
cool. I mean, they did Slender Man, which is sort of like a modern age cryptid.
Give me the cinematic universe of cryptids.
I would be so fucking down for
Bigfoot, he's like, I'm starting a team.
that. Actually, literally, Zach and I had an idea for a game where it was Bigfoot hunting cryptids.
It'd be cool to make some kind of like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen story, but it's all cryptids.
Yeah. That'd be so fun. I love modern day cryptids, like ones that have been invented in the last 10 or 20 years, because they're always like, well, for one, you get to be part of the origin story, sort of. Like, you know about that guy who was like leaving TV sets in front of people's like porches in West Virginia, I think?
Of course, it was West Virginia. No, I didn't hear about that.
So this is sort of like, it happened like 2 or 3 years ago, but like basically folks in, I think it was West Virginia, would just like go out on their porch the one day and there'd be like an old like CTR TV set on, or CRT TV. Saying that right? Either way, there would be like an old like big ass box, like chunky TV set just on their porch. CRT. So, and then folks were just like, why do I have a fucking TV on my porch? And then like someone with like one of those Ring cameras like found footage of like, they like had one of those TVs left in their porch, so they went and looked at like the Ring footage, and like this person who was wearing their own TV set as a helmet, so you couldn't see whose face it was.
I love that he knew he was gonna get caught eventually and he had a plan. That's fantastic.
And it's honestly, it's amazing because like the person like walks up, they're wearing the TV set, they put a TV set on the person's porch, and then they clearly saw that the person had a Ring device, because then they wave and then they walk away.
You know, it'd be cool. Maybe it sounds like this guy was going more for just like messing with people versus trying to be creepy. But it would have been cool if he like, because I'm sure you could get all the stuff for fairly cheap. If you're, it'd be cool if he put like a setup on their porch where the TV was actually like playing on a some Ring type video or something like that.
That'd be cool as shit.
That'd be scary. If I opened my door and there was an old ass TV like just playing something on my porch, I'd probably try to punt it into the street and run back inside.
I'd be a little. Oh, and here's the picture that I found.
Zach says it's creepy because he was leaving his eggs.
I think someone else said that too.
I love that.
I saw somebody on Twitter actually made a drawing, because like in the video, like the person like leaves the set and then waves at the camera and walks away. So I'm trying to see if I can find the drawing. Like somebody did drawings of the person like as a cryptid, and it's kind of adorable. Like no one's ever found out who TV set Headman is, but
he's out there.
He's out there. It's regular Virginia, not West Virginia. I want to find these drawings that somebody made too. I'm gonna post these pictures on the DrawBomb.
Rural America gets bored, so they come up with characters.
Exactly. And you know what? Honestly, like when it's in the form of that, I'm all for it.
I'm always interested by those and urban legends and all that kind of go hand in hand, but that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind
I
of
was thinking the other day about how like, you know, like the reason we have like a lot of monsters, quote unquote, like the reason people would think that monsters
existed was because, you know, people just didn't know what things were.
Right.
So like I was wondering like the other day, like would it like legit be like you're just like out exploring the wilderness with some folks, and you know like if you're out like just sitting in your yard or something like that, you hear like frogs, you hear like cicadas, you hear like crickets.
That's
And I was
definitely
wondering
real.
if like somebody's just like, hey man, do you hear that noise that's going like toot 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 like a cricket, and the person's just like, yeah, it's probably like a horrible creature with 5 arms that's gonna skin us. Like that's
There's
like,
definitely examples of that. They think one of the common like ideas of like the gray man alien is owls, because I'll show you a picture, but there's these owls that I think it's baby owls or something, but they look like friggin' aliens when they don't have their feathers like in full blast yet, and they're like they have. Let me see if I can find it. But like that classic big-eyed like
oh yeah,
gray man alien.
yeah. I love cryptids. I love the concept. It's funny that Slender Man is like a cryptid that is like just known in popular culture, and it started out as like a Photoshop contest entry on like a forum.
Yeah.
It's fun to think about.
Google. Well, I can bring it up. If you Google baby barn owls, which are found in these areas, they look like little aliens, especially if you saw one in the dark.
Oh my goodness. That is ugly.
And so they think that's a lot of where the potentially what people are seeing, because they look they look like kind of like that little skinny, big head, big black eyes.
Especially the blurry photos.
Yeah. And you have to imagine if you saw it at night or something, which you would, because that's the only time you're going to really see an owl.
Yeah, exactly. It's yeah, it's fun to think about how like a lot of like the monsters.
Explanation for some of this stuff.
Yeah, like it's just like dudes just didn't know better, so they were just like, yeah, it's probably a monster that's gonna kill us in like a minute if we don't get out of here.
We gotta go.
Get the fuck in the van. So yeah, it's fun to think about that stuff, and you know, since we have like we know better, it's interesting how the creation process for like modern day cryptids is slower, but when it happens, it's you know, it's interesting.
But on the same line as like urban legends, it's interesting how they spread too, and how they like become a movement. Because it's on one thing if like it's 2 people in the woods who see something and they're like, dude, that looks like this, and they're like, yeah, but like for it to spread and become a cultural thing is cool.
Exactly. It's like, did you have any urban legends like that you kind of heard about growing up, or?
I mean, the answer is yes, but I can't think of any offhand.
Yeah, I can't think of too many. I just remember there was one where like I would hear this story constantly, and I was just like, okay, well, clearly if this was true, like folks would have, like the police would have investigated this by now.
Right.
But like I'd heard like multiple kids say like, yo, there's this car by the movie theater where there's like a dead body and like a bridal dress like underneath the car, and if you look under the car you can see like the dead body. And I was just like, well, clearly that's not true, because I heard somebody else tell me that like 2 weeks ago. But
right.
like
The body's still there.
yeah, like what the fuck, man? Like, isn't anyone gonna pick that up? But yeah, so it's just interesting that like no one who had said that or who had told me that story had thought of that ahead of time, and that's, you know, just sort of that lack of critical thought. I feel like it plays a large role.
It's interesting.
Into a lot of that, yeah.
Zach says, my favorite urban legend growing up is, but who was phone? I don't know what that is.
That's a internet creepypasta thing.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
it's like almost making fun of internet creepypastas, because it's like the original form that at least that I know of is like this horribly like English garbled, probably written in a foreign language, or like or English as a second language sort of like thing, but like it's like a really shitty. I think it's intentionally making fun of creepypastas, but it's like this dude like gets an answer on his phone, or this dude's phone rings, and then the dude answers it, and there's no voice on the other end, and then some voice appears and tells them something, and then the knock comes on the door, and he says, "But who was phone?"
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's like a whole. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Or like the realistic Bart episode of The Simpsons that we talked about like a ways back. Dead Bart.
Oh yeah, the dead Bart creepypasta. Weird.
The original creepypasta was posted via 4chan's paranormal board on March 28th, 2008. So when you're with your honey, you're making out when the phone rings. All of these words are misspelled, by the way. You answer it, and the voice is, "What are you doing with my daughter?" You tell your girl, and she say, "My dad is dead." Then who was phone?
Yeah,
So sort of became a
making
meme.
fun of it.
Yeah. There was this like comedy, like way back when YouTube was still not the soulless creature it is now, and like when people would still make sketches on YouTube. There was like this project where like a bunch of the cool channels that were making really good sketches got together for a summer and like worked in collaboration to make like a series of sketches. It was called Genius Camp, I think. Which you can still find the videos online. I think they're still on YouTube. But there's one episode where like they're like a lot of the episodes were camping related because it was called Genius Camp. So like the one episode they're like sitting in a tent telling ghost stories or whatever. And like the one video begins with the guy like finishing his story up, and he says, "So then who was phone?" And that's just how like sketch starts before like it gets involved into everything. But like the guys from Good Neighbor were in Genius Camp.
Oh really? Nice.
The one dude who's on Saturday Night Live now was in Genius Camp. What's his name? I think he was also the guy in Good Neighbor. A lot of the guys in Good Neighbor are just like successful now.
All three of them are on SNL. I mean, two of them are on it, and one of them writes.
It's good for them, by the way. Like, it's always crazy to see. Like, that was like when I saw fucking Donald Glover in Community, and I was just like, oh my god, someone from the internet finally broke through.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that now. I mean, there's a lot of people like growing up that are doing stuff.
Yeah.
One of the guys from Balloon Shop had a cartoon for a while. I don't know if that's still on the air. I never saw it.
Olin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never saw that either, but I did hear about that.
But
Never heard
still,
about the other two guys doing good.
some kind of success. It's cool.
Yeah. He's got a fan base for sure. Sure, I did an Iron Man and
You did Iron Man and I did Ron Man.
good old Ron.
Boy, I'm liking the quality of the drawings that we're doing, but the last few episodes we were like get like 2 drawings done.
Yeah.
It's all right though.
Yeah.
It's fun.
We're doing
it's good.
drawings and we're getting it's a good conversation, good
Yeah,
drawing.
that's what it's all about.
When you hear your family.
Yeah, breadsticks and salads.
Get some breadsticks and za.
They have pizza at Olive Garden.
They do.
Oh, speaking of when you're here with your family, they just announced a Sonic costume for Fall Guys, but it
Really?
kind of looks good in a lot of ways, but it also looks kind of gross because there's like the top half and the bottom half. There's a line, and it makes his belly look like a gorilla mouth.
I don't know if I like this.
I know. It's almost good.
It's weird.
It's because of the line, right? It's because it's.
It does look like a mouth. Wow. It looks like monkey face. The man, like.
I like the other details of it, and I like the idea of we're wearing a Sonic costume and going as slow as possible because it's Fall Guys.
That is hilarious. Yeah.
But I don't know.
It's one
I
of
like
those
they
things
got the
where-
eyes right.
They got the eyes right. It just reminds me of like that picture where it's like, is this a bunny or is this like a duck?
Yeah.
Is this Sonic or is
Yeah,
this
that
like...
that line between the top and bottom half is not my favorite.
I don't...
But I get it, because everything's supposed to look like an actual costume.
Yeah, I just feel like they could have... they could have made the line just less, you know?
I wish they would have done the movie pre-edit version of Sonic.
That would have been hilarious.
Give it a bunch of gross teeth and weird...
That would be
Sonic, the original design of Sonic is like what we were talking about when we were trying to get a likeness down and we get too
yes.
distracted by details and then a weird hideous monster emerges.
Yeah, that original design was just...
Yeah. The new one looks good though. They did it.
The new one looks great.
Hopefully everybody didn't have to crunch too hard because...
They did.
I know.
Like, it looks bad enough, like, by itself, but then you look at, like, the picture of him when he's, like, looking at his watch and there's a bunch of missiles about to hit him, and, like, the whole body is also just terrifyingly proportioned.
Yeah, it's not good. I kind of wish I could have seen that copy of the movie, that cut.
I feel like they should release that on as, like, a special feature.
I want to also see the original cut of Cats, but I feel like it's one of those things that's probably already been buried.
Yeah.
Do you remember hearing about that?
Yeah, that's like where the special effects looked even worse.
They were unfinished and like horrible. And then the movie, when it was still in theaters, they sent out an edit to the theaters, like saying replace it with this one. So the original will never see the light of day again unless somebody has those reels somewhere.
Yeah, I remember you could like see. I remember reading, I think, that you could see like the sleeves on the one woman's like cat costume or whatever.
The people on Twitter who saw it like opening night were just like, holy shit, like half the shots they have human hands and then half the shots they have cat hands and then like they'll be like dancing and their faces like floating around on their body and like they're like dancing and they're like not on the 3D like ground, they're like floating across the... Sounds fantastic. I wish I could have seen it.
Oh, yeah.
If I knew, I would have paid for opening day tickets if I knew it was going to be an abomination.
Yeah, me too. I would have honestly paid it. Like, if I knew that, like, movie theaters would be closed for, like, the whole year, and that, like, that abomination would be as terrible as it was. Like, did you see the clip of, I think it's Rebel Wilson's dance number from, and, like, she's dancing with the ants?
No.
Hold on one sec. I'm gonna send it to you.
Alright, well, let's probably wrap up the show, and then we can talk about how terrible Cats is off air.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so bad. But yeah, that's...
Do you have anything to plug this week?
Watch DrawBomb every Mondays at 8 p.m.
It's great. You want to plug your articles?
Oh yeah, I write for GameRant.com now. That's GameRant.com. If you Google my name and then the name of the website, you'll find my articles. If you search my name on the website, it goes
Enan Newtonin.
Enan Newton. Yeah, if you Google, you can read my name on my little ID card at the bottom. Yeah, you can. Yeah, I write the occasional article. I got like 3 up on it there so far. Got 2 more sort of in the pipeline, and I got 1 I've been writing right now. I write about movies and TV. Usually I write, I mean, I'm not allowed to get like super poetic or fancy with the articles, but I'm allowed to write, so that's kind of cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So check those out. You can't check out the Waterlogged website because it's not up
Doesn't
anymore.
exist.
Check out the Waterlogged website on the Wayback Machine. December 18,
There you go.
I think, last update where the website worked. You can read the whole comic on that. We are hoping to eventually get the website back up and running sometime. I did save a bunch of the stuff that we had gone missing from the website, which felt very good.
Yeah, we got it. And I don't have anything to plug besides that either.
Cool.
Play us out.
Yeah. Thanks for joining, everybody. Have a good night. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
See you next
wear a
week.
mask.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.